This is all just like that time everyone got killed. Only this time nobody is together. Ah. Well, I expected it. Tragedy always strikes when one least expects it. But to wait for a man to stand before striking him down seems almost crueler than dealing a fatal blow while he lies on the ground. A light in a dark place, June's smile had given him hope, both for escape and, possibly, for something else. It was that hope what raised his spirits just enough that they might soon be fully dashed. He opened the elevator door, and there she was. A woman sat, slouched against the wall. Lotus. Junpei felt his blood turn to ice. Her body was limp, and her skin, smooth and pale as always, was covered in bright red blood. Junpei felt his chest constrict. He couldn't breathe, and his legs began to shake. A slow, cold drop of sweat trickled down his back. He felt his stomach somersault. Junpei's mind went blank, all his thoughts replaced with endless, hissing white. Driven by little more than instinct, he began to walk towards Lotus, slowly. Each slow movement of his stiff limbs brought him closer to her corpse. Finally, he stood next to her. Robotically, he bent down and put his hand against her neck. There was no pulse, no rise and fall of breathing. She was slightly warm. Something, somewhere in Junpei's shaken mind, told him what means she had been killed recently. Yes, Junpei thought. His mind slowly returned and she had been killed. Someone had killed her. There was a deep cut on the left side of her chest. Blood still oozed from it, although clearly her heart had stopped beating some time ago. The weapon had been a knife then. Perhaps she had been stabbed in the heart once. She would have died immediately. He took little comfort from knowing she must have suffered very little. Only then did Junpei notice. Lotus's bracelet was gone.
Lastly, let us discuss how to remove the bracelets. There are only two ways to do so. One, you escape from this ship. Two, your heart rate reaches 0. In other words, once the bracelet is taken outside the confines of the ship, or the backside of the wearer's heartbeat has fallen to 0, it will shut down automatically.
Was that why the killer had ended Lotus's life? So that we might have a number 8 bracelet? If that was true, then the killer was whoever wanted the number 8 bracelet. Or perhaps more accurately the person who would gain the most by obtaining the bracelet number 8. Who is that? Who would benefit the most from number 8 bracelet? The thought had only just entered Junpei's mind when he heard a noise. A sound like a sharp knife cutting through that meat. It struck him as strange what the noise came from inside his own body. A moment later the pain hit him. It wasn't merely pain, there was heat, extreme heat as well. He felt as though molten iron had been splashed against the side of his body. Finally his brain made the connection. He had been stabbed. But where? His body was quickly going numb. He couldn't tell where the knife had met his flesh. Given the circumstances, however, he had most likely been stabbed in the back. Whoever had killed Lotus had done now the same to Junpei as well. His voice was little more than a weak groan. With what little strength he had left, Junpei turned his body, trying to catch a glimpse of his attacker. But as he did, the knife dug itself in deeper, twisting viciously. He collapsed to the floor, a puppet with its strings cut. His arms and legs lay where they fell, only twisted and awkwardly positioned. Junpei's body wasn't tired and numb. He could feel the blood leaking out of him, but nothing would move. Nothing save his eyes. As he lay on the floor, his life fading away, Junpei finally saw his attacker. The tiny images of a killer reflected in his eyes. That recognition came. Nothing. He felt no emotions, not anger, no sadness, not regret. The paralysis what had claimed his body had reached his mind. His killer glanced down at his body. And, without a word, climbed into the elevator and was gone. His eyesight began to fade, the world grew blurry and began to dissolve into an empty white fog. The fog crept into the edges of his mind and walked inexorably inward. Soon it swallowed up the last what remained of Junpei's mind, and his consciousness left him. There was nothing more. Into utter emptiness, he fell into zero. Whatever Junpei has been was gone. Yes, I would. Why, yes. And it's locked. No key here, no key here. Interesting. I wonder about that. Am I actually supposed to go through here, but go through straight forward, and then go through this entire playthrough again, and then I'll get a different ending? In any case, that was damn crazy. Just like the last ending, although I think I prefer the last one to this one. When you actually see everyone else die, it was a lot crazier than just having myself suddenly ambushed while looking at someone else.